Hello, and welcome to another episode of Thrive Like a Parent podcast. Today, I am beyond excited. I have Emily Vondracek. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Good.
Her handle is Emily Vandy.
Emily
Vondi.
Vaughn.
Vondi.
Yes.
Yes.
Sounds
But
very posh.
yes, I love it. But
Vondy.
Emily, I have admired and loved and smiled and laughed and you're just freaking amazing. And I was like, I want to talk to her. Like, I want to hang out with her. Like, I want to be best friends with her. And so here you are. And I'm so excited to have you. I today feel that it's really important. And I've never discussed this on the podcast before of talking about the world of social media and what it's like as a mom doing this, right? Like, not only do we do this because we love it and it's fun and we get to get all of our creative, juices out, but this is also a way for us to bring in finances into our own home. And I think we don't talk enough about how that means it's a job which requires time and energy and effort and what's behind all that. So if you are someone who also has a quote side hustle or trying to build your career through social media, stay tuned and listen up because we're going to dive into all of that. But first, I want you to introduce yourself and tell all of my thriving parents all about yourself.
Okay, so Emily Vondracek from Minnesota. We have 4 kids, 6 and under. So, that comes with its own delights and struggles. But yeah, I just started doing like social media. I think when a lot of stay-at-home moms in general did during COVID quarantine. We all kind of started hopping on TikTok because we realized, wait, there's like a lot of us going crazy right now.
Yeah.
Let's connect.
Like all of us,
Not
just a lot, like all of us, right?
Right. So that's kind of how it all started. And then, now it's kind of built into this thing, which has been able to provide income for my family, which has just been the biggest surprise and blessing for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. 1,000%. Tell me a little bit about, and we'll get into the social media world a little bit in a second, but I ask a lot of my moms this, I would love for you to share a little bit about your transition into motherhood and like what that looked like. Like, I feel that all of our transitions are completely different, but yet similar in a sense of we've all got a story, right? And
sure.
I would love to hear, yes, now you're on TikTok and Instagram and you're sharing all of your motherhood woes and highs and lows and dancing in between, right? Even all of your pregnancy stuff, like up till you delivered your 4th baby, maybe even more.
Olive is,
right?
I think I started when Nora, my 3rd, was just a baby, but then I was doing TikTok when pregnant with Olive. So it's kind of fun following along that journey.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how the transition into motherhood has been for you individually, right? Like first comes love, then comes marriage, and then boop, here we go. How has that been for you?
So I was, and I say this with love, but I was kind of naive. I wanted to have all the babies ASAP, right when I got married, because I've always loved kids. So I knew I wanted to have a nice herd full of children. I think, and I of course I don't regret anything, but in hindsight, I could see where maybe waiting a couple of years, a year or two, would have been maybe beneficial for me and my sweetie's communication. We can see like everything's in hindsight, but before I got married and had kids, I would talk everyone's ears off about how I can't wait to have babies right away. And now when I talk to young couples about when they say they're wanting kids and stuff, I'm always like, well, don't be afraid to take your time. Do you, but don't be afraid to take your time, So anyways, I got pregnant 3 weeks after we got married.
No way. That's like a honeymoon baby.
It was almost, kind of right after our honeymoon. And the transition into motherhood, I think nothing could have prepared me for the shift in responsibility, the shift in now I have this whole human that I remember just going to bed every night thinking, almost with a little bit of not dread's a strong word, but knowing I'm going to do all this tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And it's never going to be normal again.
Oh yeah.
The concept of like finding the new normal was such a mind trip for me. It kind of, but my first was very, very, very colicky. So it was me being terrified to leave the house because he would scream and cry the whole time we went anywhere.
Wow.
In his car seat. It was so I had this baby that I spent the entire day trying to not make cry.
Yeah.
And although like there was still the identity in me that so longed to be a mother, that was speaking to that.
Yeah.
I was now a mother. And so there was that fulfilling part of it, but also this like culture shock. I don't know the right word for it, but like how this is my life now. And it's never, I have to find the new normal. Finding the new normal was, I think, hardest for the first, for sure.
For sure.
It's such it took me a while.
I remember like I would be so exhausted because Charlie he was my first and he was so colicky. Like, I mean, you name it, like reflux. He had the whole 9 yards. And I remember being like, okay, I made it through another day. Like I made it through another night. And like, I'd be exhausted when I woke up, but I was like, I can do it. And then as the sun started setting, I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. Like, okay, here we go again. Like it was almost like this, like daily depression of like, oh gosh, here we go again, you know?
Right. Oh, for sure. I totally resonate with that. And then you have, feelings of guilt are mixed in because you're thinking, I waited, I wanted to be a mother my whole life. And this is kind of so much harder than I thought, but I shouldn't be feeling like this. I should just be feeling all the good.
Right.
Because so that was in 2016. And it was like postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression, all those things were starting to be talked about more, but not near as much as they are now.
Agreed.
So I still kind of felt like I couldn't really vent as honestly as I could now. And even in 2016, I kind of grinned or just kind of pretended like everything was fine.
I for sure did
because
too.
I felt like I should be fine.
I like pushed through. I got to tell you, like, I don't even know what postpartum depression is or feels like because I pushed through so heavily that I was like, you just keep going. Like, I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You just do it. You like, you keep your head down and you keep going. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh wait, now we're having another and another and another. Like, okay, here we go. Like, let's go. Right. Yeah. We just keep going.
Right.
So
I think,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think for me personally, the true joys to be found. And of course I had sweet newborn moments with my first,
of course,
but I like the true joys of the true, like kind of purpose, calling, all the good things of motherhood didn't come right away for me. It kind of took a bit to, once I fully realized and accepted this is the new normal. Once I kind of learned how to accept help, once I talked openly about everything, there was so much more like joys to be found, which, because at the end of the day, I do think it should be you're joyful, I guess. Or at the end of the day, motherhood in general should be good, not bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Some bad,
yes,
but it should be overall good.
Happy. Happy. A lot of, when I work with my clients, a lot of them come to me, they're burnt out, they're exhausted, they're depleted, they're overwhelmed, they're overstimulated, all the different things. And I'm like, you can have that. Like, you can be happy. You can feel calm. You can feel some sense of balance and peace, right? Like, you can have that. Is it work? Is it effort to get to that point? Absolutely. But like, why are we working so hard, to build and create this life if we don't get to enjoy it ourselves,
Yes. Right. And I think it's worth what you're saying, worth figuring out how can I enjoy this more, or how can it not be? I know there's going to be like seasons of like survival mode.
Yes.
Postpartum seasons, like seasons of sickness, just hard seasons are going to be survival mode for sure. But I feel like motherhood, it's not meant to just be survival mode the whole time.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I feel like there's things we can do for our mental health, for our sanity, to help find the goodness and joy, and it's to be thrival mode.
Agreed. So 2016 is when you started your journey of motherhood. And you said before that right around the time of basically lockdown is when you kind of started stepping up your social media game. What led you to decide to even want to do anything like this?
Yeah, I think seeing like other moms posting and how much fun it just seemed like so much fun right off the bat. And I consider myself, a creative person. I think any of us that are content creators are creative and artistic in our different ways. And so at first I started posting videos of just really, I didn't really know what I was going to post.
Yeah.
Sometimes my kids, sometimes the fun trends. I didn't really know what I was doing really.
Yeah.
And I didn't have like a following. I was just I would post like every couple of weeks, and then it wasn't until I made like I wrote a song about, it was Nora at the time, my third, how she was up all night nursing. I made a little, hey girl, like, remember last night you were up at 3, and I made that was my first mom jam. And I posted it thinking like, of course everyone says, thinking nothing of it,
Yeah.
And it a lot of moms resonated with it and thought it was so fun. And that's when I realized, I've been writing up little songs my whole entire life about everything.
Yeah.
Almost annoyingly so, my husband would say. Not everything's a song, he tells me. And I say, I beg to differ. I think everything's a song. So I realized how much fun that was for me to do that. And that's kind of where I started kind of gaining, I guess, a following, is when I started to show my personality and my own like vulnerability and my own journey is really when I think what resonated the most is the vulnerability.
I love that. Yeah. I've even used your audio before. The girl, put your sweatpants on, like throw your hair in a bun. Like I've used it before. Like that's amazing that you have written little ditties or songs like that your entire life. How real cool. And the fact that you get to use that as an outlet now in parenthood, right? Were you a full-time stay-at-home mom prior to doing all of this?
Yeah, so I worked as like a nursing assistant, CNA, or patient care assistant at a hospital in the cities until I was pregnant with Nora. So I worked as a PCA up until I was pregnant with my third. And then I made the transition to be a stay-at-home mom when I was pregnant with her. And so pretty much since, and now I consider this work, or, my job, I guess.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's silly, even though it's such, like we were just talking, it's such a real job.
It is.
But I still, sometimes when people ask me, I still sometimes feel like I have to explain myself a little bit.
Sure.
Or I feel like, or sometimes I even downplay it. Oh, I know, isn't that silly? Or I'll say something like, because I'm afraid, I don't know what I'm afraid of. They won't. I think
it's like, you're an influencer. It's like, well, I mean, like, I don't, what? Like, huh? Like that word, it's like, well, I know, like, I mean, I feel you do a lot more than that, right?
Oh,
right?
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I think the influencing is such a tiny, it's such
totally.
Like and I like to view it as like, as far as ads go, I'm never gonna advertise something that is just crap.
Same.
I won't, I've turned down, or even like there's been contracts signed. Then once using the product for a while, I'm like, you know what, this kind of sucks. And then my management team's always so great about, oh, that's fine. We'll get out of it, kind of thing. But I kind of like to view it as the brand is paying me to do a commercial for them.
Yes.
And trying to just talk any brands that are too like scripted, or they want me to kind of read off. I always say no to those, because I don't, and no judgment to people who do scripted ads, but I always feel like
it has to be authentic to you.
I hate being scripted.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to, it just feels, I don't know.
I'm the same way. If I'm going to promote something, it's because I love it, I use it, and I believe in the product, or I believe in the company, and I feel good talking about it or promoting it, or any and all of the above,
Yes. You can be honest in the things that you're saying are real.
Right.
That's like, I want to be able to speak honestly about whatever I'm promoting.
Yep.
And not,
I think that
how it works for me specifically.
Yeah. And trust is like, for me, trust is huge. Like, especially because I'm marketing myself and I'm marketing my program and saying, hey, like, I would love for you to work with me. I have to be able to stand behind my word no matter what I'm talking about, whether it's someone else's product or my own. And if you lose someone's trust or you don't live in integrity with yourself, I feel that would show through for me. Like I just feel that,
sure.
and I don't know if I would enjoy it either. Like I don't know if it would take away the thrill or the enjoyment side of social media for me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. We've had this kind of conversation many times, like with my team that are bringing me deals, is like, if I don't genuinely like the product, it's gonna show through in the ad. And I don't like, that's, neither of us should want that. You as my management team shouldn't want me to be that either. Authenticity is like my biggest kind of goal and what I strive for through the way, which can be challenging when you grow, or not focusing, because when you focus too much on growth, which is a part of the business side, because you kind of have to think about growth a little bit, but not caring about it to a point where it takes away from your authenticity.
Totally. I think that especially in the beginning for me, clearly I knew that having eyes on me helped others see what I was doing and helped them gain awareness that I was even out there, right? So like numbers are part of it, to be able to have people seeing what you're doing. But what I realized, and I feel that you kind of said this as well, is that the more honest, vulnerable, and being myself, that's what truly did it for me. That's what truly allowed people to be like, okay, I can relate to her. Like she's super cool, or I see myself in her, or XYZ, because it's really hard to show our lives. It's hard to open up and share. I believe it's gotten a lot easier for me. It just feels like another, day in the office. Sure, I'll talk about anything at this point. Like it doesn't, like, I mean, like
I have almost zero shame.
It's like, well, but I do think it's gotten easier with time. As I was thinking about you and I and like what we wanted to talk about today, as I was literally just getting ready, I was like, I wonder what it took for Emily to get here today. So like, what did your morning look like to even get here to be able to do the podcast? Like, PS, by the way, guys, like Emily and I went back and forth through email and DMs to make sure that we could finally find a time that worked within her schedule as well as mine, as well as like wrangling our children, right? So like, what did today look like you to even get here?
Okay. So, brought my son to kindergarten this morning. And then I have a nanny that comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays to watch my kids until 4. So I brought my son to kindergarten, got home. I like to kind of get her settled in with the 3 younger ones a little bit, as far as like, have they all had breakfast? Do they need help getting dressed? Just so that she's not coming into chaos. And that's part of like, but my mother would tell me that she can get thrown into the chaos. That's part of her. She always is trying to look out for me in that regard. But me as their mother, I'm like, I don't want her to
of course, because we care.
So and I want her to like coming to work. So I kind of help her get settled in a little bit. And then I went and I got some coffee, which I probably didn't need, but I got some more anyways. Second cup.
There you go.
And then I work on Tuesdays and Thursdays at my dad's house. So right now I'm at my dad's. He lives like 7 minutes from us, and he has just this big open house that's empty in the day. So here I am. Wow. That's kind of what it looked like my morning.
What time does your nanny come on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
So she comes at 8 a.m.
Okay, so 8 to 4. Okay. Yep. So the only time you have to work on your quote job, right? And I don't even want to put that in quotes, but like on your career and on your talent and your creativity and cramming podcasts and not just being creative and doing fun songs. And I love when you do the dance ones and you're like, oh, then you just back up. It's like so funny. You're the best.
Oh, they're so fun. I love
Oh my God, you're the best. You're the best. But like you don't have that much time to devote to this career and to be able to bring in finances into your own home. And I was thinking about that today because in order for us to do this, I had to rearrange my schedule, making sure that I could fit it in when you have this pocket of time, which is totally fine for me.
Yeah.
But I went and I worked out earlier today than usual, which again is totally fine. Dropped the kids off. Eli wanted a lunch this morning, so then I had to make him a lunch this morning rather than last night. Dropped him off, ran downtown, worked out, drove back, didn't even have time to shower. I promise I don't smell right now, but like I will shower later. Literally 10 minutes, threw on some clothes. I'm like shuffling the dogs. I'm like, nope, I don't care. Like, you're going to have to figure it out later. Like, it's time to get back in, and then hopped on here. And I will tell you that I am nonstop until 6 p.m. tonight in this chair. And I don't think that people realize, yes, is a creating a life for yourself or creating a business through marketing on social media or exposure on social media. Is it doable? Yes. Is it time consuming and take commitment? 1,000%, like 1,000%. Right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. I really finding like the balance of it all was very important for me. But it was like it's a struggle though, and it can still be a struggle sometimes. What was like huge and even getting a nanny, because I did this before I did this for a long time without the nanny, fitting as much work as I can after the kids went to bed, sometimes staying up till like 1 a.m. trying to work, or during nap time, or like during the kids downtime. But then that's where it got to a point where it's like, this is exhausting. And I want to be able to, and every person's job has an element of exhaustion sometimes, and an element of hard, for sure, but I want this to be something I enjoy for, that's what kind of led us to even getting the nanny. But then once hiring the nanny, I still will have like, I call it like work brain, or like TikTok brain, where throughout the day when I am home with my kids, sometimes it's hard to turn it off, like as far as thinking of new ideas, or I'm doing something and I think, oh, that could be like a fun song or a fun skit. And then there's a temptation to like, oh, I'm going to write it up right now, but then I'll say, okay, no, we're not. I have to tell myself throughout the day, you're not working right now. You're not working right now. And it's gotten better. Now I can kind of turn it on and off easier. But for a while, it's with social media, it can kind of feel like all the time.
Well, social media never sleeps. I mean, it doesn't, right? Yeah. Like, it doesn't have weekends off, and it doesn't have evenings off, and it does like holidays, and like it doesn't sleep. So, and it'll keep going, and it'll pass you by, right? And so you have to be able, like I said, to have that commitment. And I love that you explained that you didn't have a nanny in the beginning. You probably didn't even have your management team in the beginning, right? Like, for me, I was a one-woman show. And what I would do in the beginning,
me and my phone.
Like, I would lock myself. Well, granted, for me in the beginning, the first few years when I was dabbling in it and trying to learn about it, I did it, on the side, right? And then when I really was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I as well got a nanny during the day, and that was during lockdown. So they, quote, should have been at school. And I would lock myself literally in my bedroom, and I had certain hours that I would work, and I was committed and consistent. And I would put my phone in my bedroom when it was time to walk out, and I would not pick up my phone in the evening so that I could focus on the kids. But I absolutely had that brain that was like still ticking and thinking. And then after my kids would go to bed at night, I was right back at it. Like, I would be up till 1. And I literally have journals that I was like, I can't believe I did this till 1, 2 in the morning, and then got right back up at 6. It was crazy in the beginning. And the beautiful part about it is that we've built that commitment and done that portion, that now we are where we can find that balance. But I think it's really important for you as a listener, if you're listening to this, to understand that this does take a lot of time, right? It's not just slap something together and be like, oh, look, like we did it. Like, look, I want to get there. Like, I would say if you want to do this, consistency is key. And like you said, authenticity, and deciding that this is what you want to go for.
Right. Yes, I would agree with that. I think for anyone who's listening who wants to be like a content creator, I have the most growth when I'm being authentic, because people want to follow real people. And I know that like for a while everyone said like you need to kind of niche down. And I think to an extent, like, so I feel like I have an umbrella niche in the sense that there's so many things relatable to motherhood, but then there's also like, I'm also a wife. I talk about, like date nights, getting ready for date nights, or I have fun learning dances, and I'm a horrible dancer. Fantastic. I'm kind of getting better at it. But so like little things that show parts of your moms have interests, and moms have things that are fun for them. So even me trying to learn a dance, it's still kind of relatable or fun for other mothers to watch, because they have interests too, and it resonates to them, to the interest in their heart, if that makes sense. Like she's doing something for herself right now that resonates with me, and she's having fun, So I would encourage people to don't be afraid to be like cringy, Being cringy is like my number one negative comment.
Like what do you mean? Don't be afraid to be cringy. What is it? What do you mean by that?
So I think when you're putting yourself out there, and to some, especially like the young generation, if you're trying too hard, it's cringy. And I'm kind of I'm outgoing and bubbly, and I'm doing too much. Oh. I say that in quotations. Like they think I
think you're trying too hard. Oh,
please. Yeah. And I don't want to put the young generation on blast. I think the younger generation is so creative and full of potential, but they don't like when you're trying too hard because you're being cringy, That's
hilarious.
So, but what I'm saying is try hard. Don't be afraid to look like you're trying too hard or doing too much, Be fully, I think being just fully yourself, if you're not, which I'm not everyone's cup of tea because I can get really hyper and really squirrely. And if some people, that might be annoying to people. But if I bottle that or hinder that, then I'm not being my authentic true self, and that's what I think that's what people want at the end of the day. And so if you have like a personality that's more chill, and then be chill. Don't feel like you have to perform or put on a show, or, you know what I mean? That can be a whole nother side of what can be kind of challenging for this role, is sometimes I'm tired and like sometimes people will meet me and expect me to be like this super outgoing, bubbly, hyper, silly girl, which a lot of the time I am, especially when I get to go out with my girls, and, I am that hyper silly girl. But sometimes I've had times where I'm like recognized at Target or something, and I'm with all 4 of my kids, and I'm in mom mode, and I'll get like a DM later that day. And this has only happened a couple times, but of course it sticks out to me. It was so nice to meet you. I thought you're different. You're different than when I thought you'd be. And I was kind of like, sorry I didn't
live up to your expectation. Yeah.
It kind of made me feel kind of bad though, because I was very like a sweet and engaged to the person that was talking to me, but I wasn't like being silly.
It's not like you're going to start singing about like your fanny pack and like, like you're not going to start singing all your ditties in the middle of Target, right? Like you're going to be like, hi, nice to meet you. I've got 4 kids that I'm wrangling. I'm trying to have them not break the vase and grab the, blankets all over the place and ask to go to the toy island. Like aisle, excuse me. I just need diapers and like milk. Like, but it doesn't mean that we're not grateful to meet everyone. Like,
of course. I was just going to say, I love when people, because sometimes I can tell, or they're unsure if they should say something or not because they don't know me. And I always welcome people to say hello or say hi, because they're always so sweet, and they're just trying to recognize you for the joy that you bring in their lives. And I totally am receptive and love when people say hello. And so I don't know if any Minnesotans are listening to this and you ever see me, say hello, but I might not perform a song for you in a moment.
I've said that before, where it's like someone came up to me this summer in Florida and she was like, excuse me, like, are you that sensory woman like that? And she was like, I'm sorry, I just don't know if like, people want to be bothered. And I was like, I'm not Britney Spears. Like people aren't like, I don't have paparazzi outside my house. Like, what I think you as listeners don't understand is like, there's a number on our pages and we know you all exist, but in our everyday life, you're not surrounded like around us in a huge stadium where we actually physically get to see that all of you are watching and that you truly care. So when you do come up to us, it's like, it makes it a little more real of like, wow, how wonderful and nice was that I got to put like a human to the puzzle, right? Mm-hmm. Like it helps it feel a little bit more tangible, because sometimes it is really hard to grasp that you guys are listening to us, or that you do like us, so that you do want to be engaged with us. It like messes with your head sometimes. For me, it's super hard. Mm-hmm. Every now and then, I remember when I hit 50K, I could not take it in. I was like, I don't understand this. Like, and I used to Google, like, how many people live here? How many people live there? Okay. So I'm from New Orleans. So I Googled it and I was like, okay, 70 or 700,000, or excuse me, I don't know the exact numbers at the moment, but like I would Google cities or states to be like, okay, that's like that. Like that's okay. That's how many people can fit in the Superdome. Got it. Like I would try to be able to figure out like the magnitude, because it's not tangible to the eye,
No, I totally get what you're saying.
I mean, we might be LeAnn Rimes, but we're not Britney Spears. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I know it's very. I'm always like I'm always humbled and grateful for even being recognized. It's something that I don't think it'll ever get old, or it'll never get, because I'm so just grateful and taken aback that they would mm-hmm.
It feels we are putting in hard work, and it feels like, wow, like I even when people DM me and they say very kind things to me, like that will never get old, because we are doing this not just for the love of being creative, and also, like we said, this is some business aspect of this to support our own families, but we're doing it because we care, and we care in a way of spreading joy and love and kindness in the world, and knowing and letting people know you're not alone, right? And so when you come up to us and recognize it and be like, I love your work, or you DM us, like, I don't know if everyone feels this way, but I know that I do, and I can very much tell that you do. Like, it means the world to us. It really, really does. Mm-hmm. And we read them. It's not like we're just passing them off. Some people say, I don't know if you'll ever read this. Right. I'm like, oh yeah, I read it. Like I'm here,
Yeah. Yes. It's so like I think the motherhood mm-hmm. journey is something that I care so much about. And the fact that my favorite kind of comments or messages I get are like, I come to your Pager videos when I need mm-hmm. to smile, or when I need to laugh, or when I need like a pick me up. And like, it makes me emotional thinking about how sometimes laughter or smiling or joy in the days that are so hard is such a gift to be able to smile mm-hmm. for the moment and laugh for the moment, and finding humor in like the crazy and the chaos has been something that has been always so close to my heart, because the opposite of the joy is just that kind of devastating, dreadful despair that can sometimes fall upon you in mothering. Somehow the fact that I can bring other mothers joy through these struggles is just it just fills my heart like, it's like so much, that's what makes me so, at the end of the day, though I'm so grateful for the extra income this has given my family, at the end of the day, I'm so grateful that I have a way to kind of reach out to mothers where they're at.
Yes. I would say that
And with what you're doing too, the work that you're
You
doing,
don't
it's
feel
just so
alone, right? Like,
important.
I don't feel it's, and it's the craziest part about it is I don't feel alone. Like I have this huge community, yet I'm not with them every day. Like you aren't in a stadium with
Right.
me hanging out every day to where it's like we're all besties. But yet there's this sense of community that like we've got each other's back. That it's just something so
Yeah.
great beyond us that it's very hard when you're the middle, like, right? When you're the person that everyone's looking at, it's hard to grasp, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yes.
would you say is been the hardest part of doing this? Is it the comments? Is it the time? Is it the balance? Like, what would you say has been the hardest part of taking this on within your life?
Probably, yeah, probably the balance. I've negative comments have I've let go of long ago. That's like that's something that I can't physically carry. I don't
Yep.
have room for it. I can't carry that. I'm not going to allow
Yep.
myself to carry it, you know? Um, but the balance of it all. So, stay-at-home mother, I had so much more time to kind of
Yeah.
manage the household. My husband would come home to dinner made, house tidy
Mm-hmm.
most nights. And now, you know, the days that I'm not working, I do
Yeah.
what I can, but like there'll be I feel like what helps me not feel kind of too guilty about it is knowing that there are mothers everywhere that have
Mm-hmm.
jobs. So if I wasn't having 4 kids now, before we realized this could be a job, me and my husband were talking about what can I do to bring in income? Because just prices, life is
Yes.
expensive right now. So had it not, if it weren't for this, it would be. We were talking about me doing daycare, me bringing in a couple
Yep.
kids to watch, us breeding
Yeah.
dogs. We just were trying to think of what can I do at home and even though I'm not at home Tuesdays and Thursdays, what can I do where I'm at home the
Sure.
most of the time? Um, so what's helped me is like, so there are mothers everywhere that
Mm-hmm.
need to work, and they to help provide for their family, and there should be no kind of shame or condemnation for mothers
Yeah.
that need to work. I think there can be kind of a little bit of that stigma still. I think stay-at-home moms are judged,
Totally.
working moms are judged. There's going to be judgment wherever you go. So, but the weeks where I was going with that is there are some weeks that I'm not able to get everything I need to get done on that
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday or Thursday. So like I'm going back to staying up late after my kids go to bed, working during nap time, where I would normally maybe be cooking,
Sure.
getting dinner ready. There are days like that where it was kind of a shift for my husband too, which he's been so gracious about. He's like on
Yeah.
board now that he knows that I can that this
Yeah.
is real, and what I can bring in to our family. He's kind of more on board. He's not so like, oh, what's there's nothing for dinner, I say when he asks that, don't ask me what's for dinner, but now we it was a shift
Totally.
for him too. So just navigating the balance of it all was a
Yep.
process where there were some days where I asked me and my husband would have real talk about, is this at the end of
Yep.
the day worth it? Should I just not do it? Because it does take time. Sometimes it takes time away from what I had time
Mm-hmm.
for before. And like it's gotten better now that we have kind of a rhythm. But there was a whole season of like, is this even feeling
Sure.
discouraged, and like I had so much mom guilt about the
Mm-hmm.
time it took, where then what I would remind myself was is you'd be needing
Yeah.
to get a job, and so any job is gonna take that time away that
Yep.
you had before, whether it would have been daycare, breeding
Yeah.
dogs, whatever it would have been, it would have been taking
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've kind of gotten better too at just it's okay that it takes
Absolutely.
time. You know, how can you be more present on the days that you're not working, turning that work brain off? That's what's the biggest that's what helps with the guilt of it
Mm-hmm.
all the most is being present and intentional when
Mm-hmm.
I can,
I would say like that would have been my same exact answer, like 1000%. And like even the
Yeah.
comment side of things, I got a text message from a friend who I went to grad school with, I don't know, last week. And she was like, oh my gosh, the comments, like, how do you not just hide in a hole? And I was like, I don't read them. Like, I don't, like, if it's going down the rabbit hole and I'm seeing it, I'm like, next. Like, I think that there's, at one point or another, there were things that triggered me right in the beginning when it was like the first time I had seen, someone was like, well, no wonder she's single, or like, no wonder she'll be single for, and I was like, oh no, like, oh, but you somehow gain a stronger sense of self and more confidence through this journey. I for sure have of okay, like you can say what you want to say and you brush it off. And I would hands down say the balance is for sure key of being able to figure this out, because again, social media does not sleep. And so you could keep going and going and going and going and going, but trusting that you're doing a good enough job and you are being consistent, or if you stay consistent and do what you need to do for you, like, it's okay. You can always come back to it. You can always take breaks. You can always like figure out what you need for yourself. And I think the last question as we wrap up is, what advice for anyone who's listening to this, who has, this is their main means of a career, is through social media or maybe a side hustle, or they're wanting to get into this, or they're a coach or this or that, like, what would you say is your biggest piece of advice to anyone who is also diving into this world?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable about things that are hard for you specifically, because guaranteed there's someone else out there that's hard for them too. And with that, being vulnerable can sometimes come negativity or judgment. So having that kind of like, you don't need to carry someone else's opinion on you like a burden. You are freeing yourself up of that, but being able to speak authentically from whatever is in you that brings you joy and purpose and fulfillment will resonate through the screen to whoever's watching. So you being passionate about what you talk about resonates with me. That's how I started following you. And me maybe talking about the highs and lows of motherhood and finding humor in it, that resonates for a lot of mothers too. What you're passionate about, people will pick up on, so being able to talk openly and honestly about that, sharing what things work for you could work for someone else, and not being afraid to being too much, cringy, or being cringy, or doing too much, just, it can be, it's easier said than done. I know, like, you want to put on a presentable face, when you're putting yourself out there. But I think what people really want is just realness. Realness. And not being too caught up in the, we talked about numbers briefly, like following and how fast you're growing. That's all a part of it, because, you want to grow your platform and your audience and your following. But whenever I get too caught up on numbers, or even like analytics, how long are people watching my videos for how long, blah, blah, blah. It takes away from, it puts me in a headspace where I'm not creating out of joy. It puts me in a weird like funk when I'm caring too much about analytics. So I know, like, you can take them into consideration. You're allowing analytics to maybe guide you sometimes, or like when should I post, that kind of stuff. But as far as like, especially with comparing yourself to other creators, don't do that. Don't do that either. That can be a hard joy, life-sucking thing from you. When you're focusing on how others are growing, it'll take away from that authenticity in you.
When I was first starting out, I reached out to someone who I was just in awe of how vulnerable she truly was. And I said, I'm just starting on this path. Like, I'm just so in awe of your vulnerability and your willingness to share so openly. I would love any advice of like, how do you do that? Like what drives you to do that? And she said, it was hard in the beginning. My family didn't quite understand it in the beginning. And that for me was hard. Like I wanted to make sure that I wasn't hurting my family along the way. And she said, and it was the best piece of advice I ever got. And I still, again, like years later to this day, believe in it. And she said, if I hadn't done this, there never would have been healing conversations, closure, and beautiful connection that my family and I wouldn't otherwise have had, because the conversations would have never been discussed. And it was like something that was hard conversations or vulnerability or things that may feel uncomfortable for your loved ones around you or for just you in general. There is so much growth to be had in finally showing and sharing your truest story. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I agree. Especially with like, if you're getting into kind of childhood hurts or maybe triggers you have as a mother that you maybe recognize are stemming from your own childhood, and talking openly about that. But then, you know, your mom watches all your videos. Is that going to offend her? It could open up a beautiful conversation that's very healing for the both of you, because I think that's a huge, I mean, I love that whole discussion. You know, that's another day, but I think that's all real. So,
well, I have loved our time together, and I really feel like you and I could like keep going down a rabbit hole of like, like relationships and like, we'll have to do it again.
There's so much.
But tell everyone where they can find you. And I want you guys to know that Emily is a joy. Like, she is a joy to watch, and she will make you smile. She will make you happy. And her creativity with her songs are like out of this world. And one day she will be on Saturday Night Live. Like, I believe it deep down in my soul, because you're just phenomenal. But tell everyone where they can find you. And that way you guys can all start enjoying the love.
Yes. So I'm Emily Vondi on Instagram, and then the Vondi Fam on TikTok.
Thank you so much for sharing. I hope this was helpful to all of our listeners just who are in the world of content creation, and there will be a next time. There will be a next time.
Yes. I think at the end of the day, I think this career is worth it when you do it.
When you do it for yourself and when you do it authentically.
Yes.
Hands down. Because you're getting to be yourself, you know? Totally. And that's what it's about.
Yep. Yes.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Okay. Well, until next time, XOXO, Dr. B.